Hi Flosstube. It is April and Christy. It is Saturday, April 17th, 2021. Don't mistake the month for the person. I completely lost everything we were going to talk about right off the bat. Oh, we don't have beers today. We in the last Flosstube we had beers, and then we kind of promised people that we would have a beer to put up at the camera for the people joining us. But we are in a remote location today, as you can tell by nature behind us. Nature. We decided to take advantage of the beautiful weather we are having, which is a big contrast to the not so beautiful weather we had earlier in the week. And we decided to pop out to Lorette, Manitoba to do some geocaching, and we brought our gear to film this Flosstube for you, so you could see some of our beautiful province. And my husband is calling me right now. I'm just going to hit the decline. Hi Flosstube. Oop, decline. 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 There we go. We're not going to start this over. I forgot to put it on airplane mode. I hope he's not in trouble. Okay, so that derailed me for a moment. So yes, we are in location in Lorette, Manitoba. April has found a few geocaches already. We'll see what happens after we film this. That's why we don't have beers. Oh, yeah. Right, that's why we don't have beers. I'm a little discombobulated today. I have a migraine in progress, so my brain is a little right now, and I'm lacking focus. So we're going to see how this goes, and you guys will enjoy it or not. It doesn't matter. Free content.
Free content. Hooray!
Hooray! Okay, so we were going to tell people who we how to find us,
How to find us.
Yeah.
So how to find you.
Well, I'm Sarcygurl. Sarcygurl. And my online presence is basically here on Flosstube and on Instagram, and that's about it. I'm not on Facebook. You won't find me there. So.
Okay.
And you?
Well, I am April Wozni on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram under my derby name, which is Missile Behaved. For geocaching, I go by the name Tuppergurl with a U, G-U-R-L.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I can really think of right now.
So, leave us a message if you need to know more. Nobody's traveling right now anyways, so it's not like you guys, most of you, can come visit us.
Yeah, maybe one day, but not today.
Winnipeg we are just on the cusp of heading into our third wave, so we are taking a moment to spend some time together while we can, while it's still relatively safe to do that. For me, I basically haven't been outside of my house except for with April, so she's my bubble. She's my one bubble that I allowed. I haven't even seen my parents in over a year, so April is it.
Yeah.
She is my social connection.
Yay.
So, and we're both still working from home. What else is going on? Winnipeg just got about 8 inches of snow. You can't tell because it's melted so fast, but we just had about 8 inches of snow on Monday, Tuesday of this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are forecasting for a little bit more snow in the next couple days, but plants are coming up, the trees are budding out. We've had some very beautiful days. We've seen lots of people wearing shorts and t-shirts already. In fact, there's some kids running around over in the park here, just short sleeves. And
of course, before we started filming, it was beautiful, quiet.
Yeah.
Nothing was going on. Now there's nothing but sirens and kids kicking a soccer ball. So we'll see. Oh, there goes a fire truck. I hope there's nothing bad happening.
Yeah.
But
that it's not heading towards Taz. So.
Yeah. So that's a good sign. Hopefully it wasn't an emergency while he was calling.
So, yes, lots of stuff has happened since we last filmed. Not a lot of good stuff. Lots of world things. I don't have the brain space today to get deep into it, but I just wanted to kind of take a moment to encourage people to use their voice. And so I listen to a lot of podcasts, and there's one called How to Save a Planet. And on March 18th, they released an episode called Is Your Carbon Footprint BS? Now, the theme of this podcast was towards environmentalism. And it was a really interesting discussion about how there was more sirens. It was about the difference. Well, no. It basically asked, is individual action better than, or which is better, individual action or systemic change? Which has more power to change the world? And so what it comes down to is systemic change is what we need, but individual change is what helps us get to the systemic change. It is, your little micro actions might not have a huge impact on a global scale, but it sets the example for the people who are witnessing what you're doing. And your voice gets heard by other people, and they may or may not agree, but it can plant seeds, it can grow. It shows people that you're willing to use your voice, and you're willing to stand by the things that you believe in, and it gives them the incentive and less fear to vocalize their own stuff. And it's to me, this doesn't just apply to environmentalism. It applies to everything. It applies to fighting for equality in race, gender, sexual orientation, disability, age, body size, religion, and socioeconomic status. These are all problem areas that need change. So use your voice. Speak up. Talk to people. Even if they don't agree with you. You don't have to necessarily engage when somebody is not agreeing with you. You might not feel comfortable doing that. But just using your voice can show the people around you that they can also use their voice. And that is what's going to build up into systemic change. So I want to encourage everybody to do that as much and as often as you possibly can. Basically, that's all I have to say on that. And I just really wanted to, put that out there. Try to give people more power to do that, more incentive to do that. I want to see more of it. I want to see people standing, because that's important to me. So, good.
Okay.
Do you
Serious part done.
Serious part done. Complete. Checked off the list. All right.
Do you want to talk about comedy?
I was going to do that towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about projects?
We'll start with what we've got done. Fully finished objects.
Okay, we're starting with finished
Yeah.
first?
Fully finished today.
Okay, I've noticed that my productivity in regards to crafting has not really been non-existent lately, but it's really been few and far between. I've also had some secret projects on the go, which I cannot talk about right now, but we'll talk about later. Not later in this episode, just in a future episode.
So, you guys, we've just promised you a future episode. You should be happy.
Secret projects. Kind of some crafting, some sewing, some covert actions.
We like that.
So, finished objects. I just wanted to show my socks that I was working on last time. I'm quite impressed that I was actually able to match the, we'll put it this way. Oh, the stripes are like almost matching completely on both socks. So I was very excited about that.
That is pretty awesome. It's hard to do sometimes.
Still, this pattern, I don't have the details on the pattern with me today, but I did mention them in our last Flosstube. I did find these socks to be quite angular when you knit them this way. It was like it has the afterthought heel, and when I blocked these on some sock blockers, so they have a nice form, nice shape right now. But I find that the heel and the toe ends up looking a little bit elf-like, pointy. Yeah, but with them blocked out, it kind of you can't notice it as much. So it looks like a sock shape. Sock shape.
Usually when a sock's on a foot,
yeah,
it takes on the shape of your foot.
Right.
So
there's a little bit of a laddering going on the side, but all in all, I'm gonna wear them. So that's yay socks.
They look wonderful. It's fantastic. Do you have any other fully finished objects?
No.
It's okay.
No, nothing at all. Nothing that I can show.
Creativity at this time, it really depends on the individual. Some people get more creative at a time like this, and some people get less. And it really depends on where you draw your energy from. You've been spending a lot of time doing geocaching because that's one of the areas that you draw your energy from.
Yeah, and
so,
I do have I have multiple projects on the go. And I have a lot of things on the go, but nothing that's really finished. And some of them are not necessarily crafting, but yeah. I might have more stuff to show next time, but I don't really have as much product to show today.
It's okay.
So
this is life. I think a lot of people feel the same way. I've been getting energy from those creative outlets, so I've kind of continued doing it.
Yeah. Also, I noticed like at the beginning of the pandemic, I think it was kind of like I was working from home and I'm like, I don't know how long this is going to last. I have to get everything done. And I was crazy productive.
Yeah.
For like the first 2 months of the pandemic.
It was kind of like vacation at that point.
Yeah,
Scary vacation, but at that point it was just like putting the pause button on normal life, and it just kind of, it felt almost peaceful.
Yeah.
Compared to more recently, right?
Yeah.
Now it feels like a slog. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's going on forever.
It does seem like forever. I miss hugging people. I miss seeing people.
Yeah.
I miss
just going to stores.
Going to stores and
I
browsing.
miss grocery shopping, you guys.
Yeah. I miss going for drinks.
Yeah.
Going to get some food with friends.
Yes.
In a nice, warm, cozy place.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. We'll have to get a snack after this. But yeah.
Fully finished item.
Ooh, so pretty.
I played with punch needle. It was fun. It's kind of satisfying because it makes this popping noise as you go through the fabric. It uses a huge amount of floss.
What kind of floss did you use?
I just used DMC. Actually, no, this is Anchor. Because I had bought off of Kijiji, I'd bought a whole bunch of floss from somebody who was just getting rid of their stash.
Feels really nice.
It has a very lovely tactile experience.
Mm-hmm.
The only DMC that's on there is the off-white, and I have a cone of white DMC, and all I did was I just tea dyed it. Funny story.
A little bit of cat hair.
Oh yeah, not a little bit. There's more than a little bit of cat hair.
I don't even have a dog, but I've seen dogs recently, and I feel like I'm covered in dog hair. Don't even know how. Promise I won't get my dog hair on your project.
So, this background, tan, that's the tea-stained white DMC. I from my coat, I wrapped my arm like 50 times. 50 times. I'm like, that's got to be more than enough to do that background. No.
Never is.
No. There's a place here where I ran out. It looks ever so slightly different to my eye. You'd probably never see it. But ever so slightly different to my eye. Because I know it's there.
I can't tell the difference.
Boy, did I laugh at myself when I ran out. Because I thought, there's no way. I'm like, I'm going to have so much of this left over.
I
Nope.
don't see a difference. Do you see a difference?
I totally see a difference. But doesn't matter. That's how I craft. It doesn't matter. This is not perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. If you're a perfectionist, I don't think punch needle is for you. Because, quite frankly, it is impossible to.
Or maybe if you're a perfectionist, this could save you.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Save you from yourself. Possibly. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go.
I've learned that with knitting. I was more of a perfectionist before I started knitting, and now I'm able to see a mistake and let it go sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not all the time.
Not all the time. It really depends. If it's going to fall apart on you, you can't let that mistake go. But if it is just like a twisted stitch or something.
Tiny twisted stitch, 20 rows back, you can live with it. Nobody's going to... We always think, or I don't know if other people have this problem, but sometimes people show their projects and they're like, I made these socks, but there's this one problem right here. And they have to point it. Just don't point it out. Honestly, your friends who don't knit or do whatever craft project you're telling them about will never notice ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. That's the same as I've been thinking a lot about how people show off the backs of their cross stitch. Mm-hmm. And like they seem to be very and talk about white stitches as well. And it's in terms of whether or not it is perfect or tidy. What does it matter? Like if there's somebody that comes into your home and examines your stitching this close so that they can see all the imperfections, or they open up the back of your frame to see your tidy back. No, you just show them the door. They do not deserve to be in your house.
Although I can see how if somebody took a lot of time trying to make the back look as nice as the front, that they might want to show it off.
Well,
I get that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of wasted time in that, and you could be spending your time instead of worrying about
this is that. Okay, doesn't fold her underwear, folds her underwear. So that's
so true.
I can't remember how we came upon that subject at one point, but there's some times where you want to make something look really neat when it doesn't have to. Like, nobody is going to see my underwear drawer. I see it. It makes me happy to know that all of my underwear are folded and in order, but you may not feel that way.
Yeah, no, it's just a lump. Just a lump. Whatever. Whatever, care. I don't care. I don't have time for that. She doesn't really have time for that. But she cares about it.
It brings me joy.
It's fine. It's those little things that you can control, and I mean that can be an important part of your journey for mental health is finding those little things that you can control and enjoying your control over them.
If it makes you happy, do it.
Yep.
If it doesn't make you happy, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not, nobody cares.
If the imperfections of something like this are going to drive you nuts, this is not for you. Cross stitch is probably more your game. But it was a lot of fun, and it was so quick. Like, just, I don't know. I did the house in about 2 hours. Like, it really took no time at all. It was very satisfying. Mm-hmm. And the popping noise it's like bubble wrap. It's just so satisfying. So FFO, yay. What I did is I took a piece of linen that it was like a test dye piece of linen that I had. Like, I have old linen tablecloths that I've found at thrift stores that I pre-test a dye, like a dye, just so I want to see what it actually looks like before I use my expensive cross-stitching linen to dye. And so this is a test linen, and I probably could use it for stitching, but it is a really fine count, I guess would be the word I'm searching for. Count. Yeah. And so, you know, especially on a dark blue like that, it would be a struggle. Like, blue messes with my eyes to begin with. So anything finer than a 40 count is just, it's too much strain. So I wouldn't bother stitching on it. But it made a perfect little, like, I just cut a semicircle that matched the front semicircle and made it a little bit, like, bigger, obviously. And cut, yeah, that's science. And just covered it with my linen, glued it on using tacky glue, and yeah. So I think I'm gonna send this to my mom just as a little, like, I miss you, I love you, Mommy. She's not gonna watch this, so this is probably going to end up in her hands. And she can put it, she has this little display with all her house plants, so she can plunk it right in there. It'll be a little house in her house place.
Nice.
With flowers.
House and plants.
I drew this. It's not hard to make a doodle look nice using this technique. It's awesome. Try it. It's not very expensive to, you know, invest in the equipment that you need for this.
So what equipment do you need?
You need something to hold your fabric tight, and the hoop I used was not good enough. I used a really cheap, because I needed a bigger hoop, so I used a really cheap hoop that was really flexible, and it was not great, but it worked for this. And I know that if I want to continue doing this, I'll probably try maybe like a Q-snap next time, or, you know, something that'll hold it a little bit tighter. So you need something to hold your fabric. You need the fabric, which is weaver's cloth, I think. It's got a special name. I didn't grab it to talk about it today. You'll need floss, of course, or yarn. It really depends. You can use this technique for, like, really heavy gauge projects, needles, and use yarn, like quite thick yarn if you really want to. You can make rugs with it. It's great. It's a very flexible technique. But the needles I used I just got them off of Amazon, and they were like the Boy brand, Boye. So not the fancy.
So it's like just a punch needle set?
Yeah, it came with 3 different gauge needles and a base to use them in, and then the thing that pulls the thread through. And some really crappy instructions. Don't use the instructions if you buy that brand.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. If you want to try it, you can totally borrow mine. And I have a piece of fabric that you can use too. The fabric is quite inexpensive to use. And if you use thrifted floss, just make sure you have enough.
Yeah. I have a lot of thrifted floss that I could probably use to make stuff. So maybe if you go with something more abstract, if you're using thrifted floss, it might work out better. Yeah,
or start with a smaller project until you get an idea of how much it'll take. You know, we promised you a short video today. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that way. So.
La 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 la.
We're done with that one. That's done. We're done with that project.
We're not talking about it anymore.
No more.
Nope.
Okay. So that's it for FFOs. Let's talk about finished objects. So
that's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay, I got one finished object. And it is...
Oh, so pretty.
Oh, no, it's also covered in cat hair.
So much
that's
cat
how
hair.
I roll. So this is... I designed this. Sorry, we were kind of going on off location today, so I kind of wrapped this up as best as I could, as quickly as I could.
Looks good.
It's okay. So, the clippies are in the way. Maybe I will flip up the clippies. That'll give me something to hang on to it by.
Oh, hey, that works.
My fingers will even be out of the way, guys. Maybe.
Maybe.
Don't blow away. Don't blow away. I need to be able to see. So I stitched this on a 40 count Zweigart that I said I was going to have something. I didn't.
Okay. Everyone forgives you.
I hope so.
The 8 people
I'm
that
not
are watching
asking-
us forgive.
I'm not asking for forgiveness. They can just deal with it. Stop apologizing for everything. That's what I'm telling myself. Okay.
I was doing really good with that. Like, not apologizing for things when we were still seeing people, and now I haven't seen people in so long that I've completely forgotten about it.
Yeah. It takes a lot of deprogramming to take something
hard.
like that out. It takes a lot of deprogramming for a lot of stuff that we've
Maybe
gotta
it's more of a
deprogram
Canadian
for.
thing. I don't know.
the
We
policy
say sorry a lot.
Well, I've seen it kind of. Yes, we do as Canadians say it a lot, but as women,
As women, we
we say it
yeah.
a lot. We apologize for everything, and we don't need to.
We don't need
We
to.
really do not need to be
Fuck that.
apologizing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I agree. Fuck that. And I'm not apologizing for swearing either, because sometimes it's good punctuation. Okay, so pattern by me called Little Sarcy Witch. It's up in my Etsy store. I've got one pattern there. One lonely little pattern in my Etsy store. I think I named my Etsy store Sarcygurl. I didn't come prepared, you guys. I don't remember. I just go into the app and
We were much more prepared last time. We're just winging it this time.
No, we weren't.
We're not sorry. We're not
we wing
sorry.
it every
but-
time.
True. True. We're just a little more
Yes.
I don't know.
We're discombobulated.
discombobulated today. The word of the day.
So, yes, I hand dyed the fabric as well, and I put instructions in the pattern on how to get something close to this. You'll have to probably play with it depending on what your fabric is to,
find
find something that you like. But
That's half the fun.
yeah,
Right?
I wrote down what I did. It might work for you, it might not. I'm not making any promises. So, oh yeah, and I also hand dyed the color for this tree. The rest of it is a mix of DMC and like fancy floss. There's a bird that just flew by.
We have a chickadee that's come to visit us.
Yes. Beep
Oh.
beep.
More of them.
We should have brought some bird seed. Yes, so I hand dyed this and I popped it up into our Flosstube video feed so that if you want to attempt dyeing your DMC in that manner, you can go and see how I did it and try to replicate it. It's just very subtle kind of modeling in it, and I really love the way it turned out. So, okay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the design. So I had kind of come up with this design. It started with the border, the leaves, and then I came up with the tree and started filling in other elements. And right around the time that I was kind of finishing up, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. And I was working on this and I thought, oh, this actually would be a really good tribute piece, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she did a lot of work in her lifetime and we won't say that she was perfect. I think we discussed this in the last Flosstube. She wasn't perfect, but she planted a lot of good seeds. And so there's elements of seeds in here. There's the acorns in the border. There are, some heavy seed producing elements like the apple, the pumpkins and gourds, and the sunflower seeds. All of these things filled with seeds. So she planted a lot of seeds that I'm really hoping will take root and eat up the decay in the world and turn it into food and shelter for the weary. And by that I mean, some of the things that she fought for and won for in terms of feminism and equality, I hope those seeds grow and expand on what she has already won for us. I hope it gets better. From the work that she did, more work will be done. And we kind of talked about that earlier, so I'm not going to dwell on that now. Yes. So that is my only finished object.
I really like the little cat on the tree. That makes me happy.
Yes.
And the RBG in the tree.
I really like how the so I googled what a feminist flag symbol was, and I found it's like a little, well,
You want to show it?
yeah, because I'm at a loss for words sometimes.
Fist.
So I was really happy with the way that turned out in like how it translated to cross stitch. So I had to fight to get the colors to look right, but I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. I love it so much. Not enough to get it framed yet. Actually, I really do love it. I want it framed, but that's not how life is working right now. So,
So cute.
but yeah, I can't wait to see her up on my wall. So, but you don't have to make it a tribute to RBG if you don't want to. If you have a loved one who has passed, you can put their initials up there. You can put your own initials up there. You can just leave the initials off, put a couple more stars. Do what you like. I'm not gonna come into your house and shake my finger at you for changing my design. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah. Do what makes you happy.
So, if you just like the witch, just stitch the witch. You want to change the skin color, definitely change the skin color. So, okay. Change the cat color, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. It's good. All accepted here. So yeah, that's my FO. What about whips? Works in progress.
Or,
Okay. That's my list, April.
I know, I'm looking at your list, but I'm seeing if there's something that comes before whips or just...
I think that's the...
I have stuff that's like not really started, but I don't know. So you do whips first.
We'll do plans.
And then we'll do like plans after whips.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't have any whips right now?
Not that I can. Okay, so it's not Stitchy related, but I'm currently working on a geocache. Actually, I'm working on a bunch of geocaches, but I'm working on a Winnipeg famous adventure lab, which is not yet published. But I'm also going to publish a bunch of geocaches with the adventure lab that are regular geocaches. But anyway, this is a sneak peek on part of a geocache, and the geocache just comes out of his yeah, but
that is pretty awesome.
It's a rubber chicken.
That's genius. So it's one of those like badge clips.
Yeah.
And it's hooked into. She's kind of slit in the side of the chicken and hooked the badge clip.
And I'm gonna like sew it, and then also I've got some magnets in here, but I've tested it, and I think I need to put more magnets in. It's not quite.
I've got some really heavy duty magnets.
Like these are rare earth ones.
Oh,
and I've got 4 of them in there right now.
Big ones.
But I think it needs more.
I've got ones this size.
Yeah. So I think it needs more magnets because it's going like way up somewhere where you can see it. I'm like way up off screen. You just way up there.
Just way up there.
And then I once I have enough magnets in it, I think I'm going to kind of sew it up, fill it with like expanding foam so that it kind of puffs them out.
Yeah.
And then like maybe cover the seams with like, I don't know, like caulking of some kind to kind of protect him from the weather, and then he's gonna hang, feet up, upside down. But if you live in Winnipeg and are watching this, I have no idea who watches this other than some people who have commented on our comment. Sure, say hi. But I have no idea who watches this in Winnipeg. But
there's a few.
So I probably should have announced a spoiler, but you may know what this is for or where this is for, but I'm not going to tell you right now. So
more to come.
More to come. Chicken.
That's awesome. I love that you pulled a rubber chicken out of her bag. That's great.
Hooray!
So that's your whip?
That's my whip that I can show. I've got other super secret whips, but super secret whips.
What I'm working on right now is another pattern of my own design. Ooh. I can show it.
It's
because
pretty.
I made it. I can show it. So this is the pattern that I'm working on. And that was the chair. It wasn't me. It's the chair.
No, do not.
It's right by the microphone.
You can fart all you like. It doesn't bother me.
It's right by the microphone.
Okay, nobody warns you that going into your 40s that you get gassier. Nobody warns you. I mean, maybe they do and I didn't pay attention, but man.
They don't talk a lot about things that happen to women as they age.
You know, all these things are starting to happen and it's terrible.
Yeah. All they worry about is whether or not men can get an erection. That's the only thing that matters.
We hear a lot about that on TV and in the media and whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so this is how far I am. I absolutely love the way the smoke has come out and how the tree came out. Absolutely love it. I love I love so much about how this one is coming out. It is a struggle because I'm not great with color. So it's taking me time to figure out which colors need to go where.
I don't know that I agree with that. Well, I think you're pretty good with color.
I know what I like when I see it, but it takes me a while to get there. These stars are no joke, you guys. Because it's multiple colors up against each other, and it seems like it should be simple, but it has not been simple. So I'm just picking away at them as I have the energy to try to figure some stuff out. And I'm not afraid to frog things if I need to. I've frogged quite a few things in there already, because it wasn't the right color. And
the smoke is fun.
I know, it turned out so good. Mm-hmm. And so I posted a picture of it on Instagram, and somebody commented that the smoke would probably do them in. But you know what? It's actually really, really forgiving to do both the tree and the smoke this way, because it is basically like just random kind of stitches. And it doesn't really ultimately matter where the stitches fall. So if you make a counting error in it, it's not going to make any real difference.
That much.
So, and the only thing that would drive you nuts is if you are expecting that beautiful, fancy, tidy back when you're stitching these things, because you're crossing over. I tried to keep the gaps to only 2 stitches missing between. Like it would go stitch, stitch, gap, gap, stitch, gap, stitch, 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 gap. So I tried to keep it limited to 2 gap stitches in between the stitches. But yeah, the back is not pretty. But it doesn't matter, you guys. It doesn't matter. But if that's what's holding you back on something like this, you try to let it go. Because how awesome does that look? If you fret too much about the back, you might not get something that looks like that on the front. Think about that. What are you willing to sacrifice to get something that you enjoy looking at? You can sacrifice your back.
The back of your project, not your actual back.
I'm feeling very ranty today. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry.
You're not sorry.
I'm not apologizing.
You started out discombobulated, and now you're just
Full of it today.
full of rage.
Full of rage. Coming out in all kinds of ways.
Hooray!
Okay.
That's fine.
So that's my only whip. Right. Well, actually, I have another small whip, but I just left it at home because I didn't want to have to bring too much, and I didn't. Well, the pattern is from a Russian maker, and I believe their letters are Cyrillic. Anyways, it's all in Russian, I think. I think it's Russian. I can't read it. So I can't even tell you what the name is necessarily, or maybe even pronounce the name of the person who did it. So I gotta. We'll see. That
Do
might
some
come.
research.
Yeah.
See what we can do.
If I finish it up after I'm done this one, because it's just a small little stitch, I will try to wrap my brain around, information with regards to that one. So, okay, that's it for whips. Plans. What you got planned there, April?
The plans. A friend of mine sent me this lovely package. Here, wait, I'll just show the front for a second for the really awesome marriage equality stamp that was included.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. It's very cute with a Canada 150 logo, but it's a very pretty stamp. I was just hiding the addresses on it. But she sent me this package, and it includes this nice little card. But the important thing is what's in the card. So it's basically a collaborative art project. And if you go look at Spiral and Line on Instagram, this is round 2, package 1 of 5. So the instructions are: alter this piece as you please. There's a little envelope with like some little like ephemera in it. Like you could alter the piece. Ideas: collage, text, paint, drawing, stickers, photos, ribbon, stitch, anything you like. And then optional, you can add your name or social media onto the contributors list. So that is on the card here. And then package it up with a few enclosures and mail it to the next person, anyone you like. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you want to be part of a collaborative art project, do you know what? Let me know. Send me your address, and maybe I'll send this to you next.
Oh,
that would be cool. So, so it's Mail Art Matters, and Instagram also at mail.art.matters. And correspondence art connects us to each other and to creative collaboration. So far, this is what I received, and it's folded in a really neat way. I kind of like it, but it's kind of hard to show right now. Can you hold the top of that?
Yes.
And then I will very carefully unfold the bottom. So this is what the project looks like right now.
Oh, that looks really cool.
And then I will need to add my own touch to this, and then it will get mailed to the next person who can add their collaboration to the art project. So that's kind of fun.
That's very cool. Maybe you could add some punch needle.
Maybe. Or maybe somebody else can. Or you can, whatever.
Yeah.
So if this is something you're interested in, do you know what? Contact us and let us know, and maybe I can mail this to you next, and you can be a part of this fun art project. So, and then this is just a little envelope. It's got like some little cutouts and stuff in it. Inspiration, maybe pieces that you could use, to cut and paste and add to the project. I don't know. Fun. But yeah, so let me know if you would like to be part of this, and I will send this to you next.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so that's fun. What else you got?
In terms of plans, I just plan to finish my cabin piece. I've got a new design that I'm pretty sure is to the point where I can start stitching on it. It'll, as everything that I've designed so far, I tweak it along the way. Somebody suggested to me that I would probably, it would be faster if I farmed out the stitching to what do they call? Somebody will stitch it for me, but because I don't have usually the colors like the colors completely chosen or anything like that before I finish the pattern. Like, it's not in a place where somebody else could take it and just stitch it up and, you know, turn it in a month or two. I make so many changes as I'm stitching, and you know, like this changed significantly since I started. Like, I used to have some grass stitched in here, but I found that I was losing my ducks, and they were getting hidden in the grass. They were there, but they weren't popping. So I pulled that out, and I ended up creating like a little stone pathway down here from the house instead. And so, you know, I pivot a lot. I pivot on colors that I select for areas and stuff like that. Like, I still haven't chosen what color I want the door. I've been testing a couple different colors in there, trying to stick with the same colors that are already in here. And I'm leaning towards having the same color as terracotta as the little clay pots. But I haven't quite decided that yet. But like, that's part of the process for me. So, anyways, yes, I will have a new design to stitch after this one. I want to try to solar dye this summer. So I'm collecting onion skins.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I smell a skunk.
Uh-oh.
Will you guys let us know if you see a skunk sneaking up on us?
I really hope that doesn't happen. But maybe we'll just kind of get a move on for the end of this, just in case. Anyway, what were you saying?
Okay, solar dye, collecting onion skins. I'm gonna try a few things, experiment. I'm gonna try to do some linen and some floss and see what happens. I'm listening for every little movement.
I think we're okay.
I hope so.
We're probably okay.
I don't think skunk would go very well with a migraine.
No.
I'm just saying.
Probably not. Let's just hope that we're making enough noise that if there is one here, it's going to walk away.
I don't smell it anymore, so it might have come into the area, decided we were too noisy and left.
Good.
Hopefully. They're cute, but I don't want to stink like that.
Nope.
Okay. Next plan is to get the vaccine as soon as I possibly can, and I'd really like to go see my parents. They live in Saskatchewan. I live in Manitoba. I haven't seen them for over a year. I want to go see them. And then another thing that I want to get going on is I have designed a couple of things that I want to try to make available to the Stitchy public. And I've ordered cutting dies, and I've received them. So now I'm waiting for the machine to be able to use the cutting dies. And what it is I have a system for storing my floss. Oh, that skunk smells bad.
Back.
Okay, we're going to do this quick.
So, the perils of recording in nature.
For holding floss when you're doing projects, I have two different types. And so the benefit of these is that your floss is not knotted onto the hole. Instead, it is just kind of looped on there, and it stays put. It stays, like, I mean, you can tug it off if you really want to, but it doesn't fall off. So that's as hard as it is to get your floss off. That is as easy it is to put it back on. I love these. I want to make them available for other people who might be interested in having that ease as well. So there's that. It's gone again.
The wind is blowing from that way.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's carrying from over there.
It could be.
Anyway, but we just keep getting like
Waft of
Waft of skunk.
It's not
And
subtle.
it's not weed.
Yeah.
It's definitely a skunk smell and not.
It's not subtle either. It is like
It's
smack
like,
you in the face.
in your face.
Hello, Pepe Le Pew.
Okay, just quickly, I'll quickly talk about. I am one of my projects. I was buying somebody a book for Christmas and needed to spend like $10 more to get free shipping. So I bought myself this this calligraphy made easy book. I had a set of calligraphy pens that are like from the 80s or something, which I started trying to use with some of the projects in this book just for fun, and they didn't really work out. So I bought these markers because the colors made me happy.
Those wood, yes, they're beautiful. I love them.
So I'm going to start playing with calligraphy because why not? It's another thing I can do with my free time.
Yeah.
All that free time that I have. And then I was at Dollarama and got these fun notebooks. This one is a lined notebook, and then this one has dots, which I thought was really good score.
You could use that for cross-stitch designing, April.
Right? You could also use it for cross-stitch designing. It is dot ruled. But
That's awesome.
they were pretty and really cheap, and I thought would be fun to use for just practicing. So that's something I'm going to play with.
Yay!
Soon. Maybe I'll use some of that on my art project. Who knows? Fun stuff.
Good plan.
Mm-hmm.
Good plan. So, other than that, I have some thank yous. Have you done showing stuff?
I'm done showing
You're
stuff.
done showing stuff. I'll show stuff with my thank yous, but I'm just going to use this to kind of make sure my paper doesn't fly out. So, I have a. Does that help? Like that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to put a thank you out to Mrs. Sadis. She makes hand-dyed silks, and she's out of Spain, I believe. And what she did was she was starting to stitch my 2020 pandemic sampler herself, and she collected together a conversion of her silks to the DMC that I used for mine. And so I contacted her when I saw her make that post, and I said, hey, I think other people would probably be really interested in buying your like a floss pack for my sampler from your silks. And so what she ended up doing was she created the floss packs for people, and she made sure that I think it was €5 from each sale went towards Save the Children Spain. That part of it is over now. I think it went into January. Then she started selling it in November or something like that, and went into January. She made a really nice little donation. It was awesome to see. I very much thank her for doing that. And then Michelle Bendy was one of the people who actually purchased one of those floss packs. And when Mrs. Sadis sent Michelle the floss pack, she included a second one to be used as a fundraiser. And so Michelle Bendy put together a really interesting, fun piece for people to bid on. And it was my sampler, the floss packs. I think she included some fabric to stitch on, a few other things. And then there was a Joy-Filled Stitcher donated a bag made by Anna Calido. I'm not sure. She's Calido0066 on Instagram, and in Etsy, her Etsy store is called Stitch Toolbox, I think, unless I wrote that wrong, which is possible. But it's I'll try to remember to put the information below this time. I'm really bad at that, but I will try. I promise to try. Okay, so yes.
I hope that was a bird.
April's
really angry skunk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, skunk, just hold off for like 10 more minutes.
Like,
I just have some
just a
thank
few more
yous to
minutes.
say. I just want to say some thank yous to balance out the ranting earlier. Okay. So, yes, Michelle Bendy put together that package, and the funds raised from it were going to be donated to MMIW USA, which stands for Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women of the USA, and which is a cause that I very firmly support. We have our own group in Canada. They've been advocating strongly in government and publicly as well. So it's very, very, very important to pay attention to what they're saying. The lovely Deborah Kennington, known as Socks Mama on Instagram, was the person who had the highest bid, and so she was the one who went away with that lovely prize. Very much thank her for that donation. That was awesome. What else? Okay, I also want to thank Emily of Eclectic Possessions and Jen Lee of Quirks and Stitches for getting together and creating It's Been One Hell of a Year Sal. And that is based on my 2020 pandemic sampler. It was very, very flat. It's anybody who has decided to stitch it. I feel so incredibly flattered. I'm like,
It's a pretty
who
big,
knew?
It's a pretty big deal, though.
It feels pretty
you
awesome.
make something, you put it out there, and
Yeah.
people want to stitch it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Company.
We have company. We have a crow now.
That wasn't the skunk.
That wasn't the skunk.
That
They don't fly.
They don't
Thank
fly.
goodness.
Thank goodness. It'd like be like a
you
sharknado,
imagine?
except for a skunknado.
Skunks with wings. Oh, I really hope skunks don't grow wings. It would be terrible.
Cute,
Anyway,
but stinky.
very stinky. Oh.
I also want to thank Janine McGowan of the Blue Flower. We've been talking back and forth, and she has been so supportive of everything I've been doing, and it feels really, really good. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Janine. I also want to say thank you to Allie, Marty, Jessica, Beth, and Martha for joining me in a little Zoom cross-stitching afternoon one day. That was a lot of fun. It was really nice to interact with people that weren't in my house. I'm tired of interacting with people in my house. So tired. So that was pretty wonderful. Thank you. I have other people to thank. I can't stop there. There's been so much good stuff that's come my way. I have received a card from Margaret Mills. This is a lovely thank you card.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring it.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I got this awesome postcard from Bonnie Dudley. Oh, there she is. I love the mail. It's like
Mail is fun.
it is so much fun. I got this card from Beth Bedford. Look at all the puppies. And just I appreciate the words that are in these things. It's just they make me smile, and it's a good day when you go down to the mailbox and you find like a little treat in there. This is from I'm sorry, I hope I get your name even close to being right. Marilise Feberwee, and she's from New Zealand. That was really cool. She also tucked a couple pieces of or a couple skeins of floss in there. So did Margaret Mills. She actually included some floss in hers as well. That was really cool. Not necessary, but really, really, it made me happy. This is a handmade card by Nancy Sickler. This is a donation card. Maureen Barron made a donation to Lollipop Farm in Rochester, New York. So that was kind of cool. Thank you very much for making that donation. If you're watching that, I appreciate that. Allison Rosen is a crafty girl. Her Etsy shop is It's Charm School. She let me pick out a needle minder and she sent it to me. That was really nice of her. You gonna focus? Hold on. As I'm making funny faces behind my hand. Super cute. I love her stuff.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's adorable.
It is adorable. I have... So there, a lady from Calgary, she was destashing, and in trade for the pattern that I sent her, because I had purchased some of her stuff, and I told her that I had made a pattern and sent her photos. And so once I was done, I sent her the pattern through the email. Listen to me as an old lady.
It's fine.
And so she offered to send me some of the stuff that she was destashing. That was so sweet. So she sent me a bunch of Not Forgotten Farm patterns. Like, I don't know if I'll give a close-up on all of them. And there's a good housewife in here as well. So just like all the goodness. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So awesome.
Yay.
That was pretty cool.
Who doesn't love presents?
I know,
Really?
right? And then Linda Craig. She's, I don't think she lives in Winnipeg, but she lives close to Winnipeg. And she sent me this lovely card that her daughter made.
I want to see the card.
She sent me a Zappy
pretty.
Dot from one of my favorite, designed by that features a design by one of my favorite people, Janine McGowan. And then she sent a couple patterns that she had. This one's full of really interesting stitches. It'd be a fun challenge one of these days if I ever find time. I gotta retire, you guys. I need more time to stitch. Plus, I hate my job.
Right? Yeah.
So
We need to start buying lottery tickets or
I
something.
know. And then Linda also sent me a project bag that she made. It's beautiful.
Those were the project bags that we were showing. Kind of.
Yes, it's
Very
the
similar.
same as similar to what
Good job.
you made.
I'm looking at it now because I'm excited.
Thank you, Linda. Nobody has to send me anything. You really do not have to feel obligated to send me anything, but I love it when there's those little surprises. Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. It just makes my day. So thank you to anybody who has, but please do not feel any obligation. So
Yay.
I will thank you publicly though when it happens. I am sure there's other people that I am missing in this list of people to thank, but brain space is kind of messy. So I tried as best as I could to collect together all the names of the people who have been leaving a little impact, and there's so many that I missed, and I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody who engages with me through any of these social formats, whether it's through Flosstube or through Instagram, and engages especially in meaningful ways. That's important, and it's fun. It's fun. It's really nice. So it's not my husband asking what we think we might want to have for dinner.
Oh,
So
that's
tired
the
of that
worst.
question. So tired.
Even if it's not you making dinner, just the having to decide why is it so much?
It was
just
because
is.
it's lather, rinse, repeat, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the same over and over and over, and you can't break it up with those trips to, you know, go to your favorite restaurant right now, and like you can order in a little bit, but those options are a little bit more limited than going to restaurants.
Then
right?
just like going to a restaurant, looking at the menu, picking something out.
Yeah.
Oh God, I miss that.
And well, like when you're in the restaurant, you're smelling the food, and it inspires what you want to eat, and it makes it part of the experience. There's other people in there. It's a social thing. It's a community thing, and eating at home all the time is like, it's got some really good things to it. You know, you get to download your day and talk, and sometimes, but at this point, everybody has said all that there is to say some days, and it's can be pretty quiet, and the same food over and over and over again. And Tazzie's on keto, and I'm not a meat eater, so But anyways, before the skunk smell comes back, I think that I had that other thing that I wanted
What other thing?
Oh
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So other cool stuff that we've been doing is geocaching. Like last weekend, April took me out, and we did some maintenance on some caches that she had set up in one of the parks, and they were pirate themed. And so, like, one of the cool bits that they had set up were these little tiny spyglasses that are strapped to trees, and they would help point you in the direction of where to go look for the next spyglass, and that was really cool. And so she did some fixing, and we got to see some animals out and about. She came within about 10 feet face to face with a hawk.
I was like face to face with a hawk. We were just looking at each other. I'm like, hello, Christy.
And of course, as soon as I moved to go check it out, it decided to fly away.
It flew away. It was still impressive when it flew away.
But we also saw, I saw a beaver that April, I don't know if you saw the beaver.
I've seen that beaver there before. Yeah. He hangs out there.
And
we saw turtles.
Yes, and a butterfly. So that was a lot of fun.
Big day.
Yes. So she's been helping to keep me a little bit sane by giving me an excuse to get out into nature. I go for walks, but it's not the same as doing a little bit of social interacting and doing something. Like, it's not my thing. I'm just along for the ride, so I don't have to make decisions, which is nice. I get to go out. It's usually out in some sort of nature. Sometimes it's in the middle of a parking lot to pick up a cache, but a lot of her stuff is out in nature, so it's kind of nice. It's just, I get to see places that I wouldn't otherwise go, so it's great, and I thank you very much for it.
Oh, you're welcome.
So we've been geocaching. Tazzy and I are still filming. Tazzy reads almost every day, unless he has like a gig. He's been doing online video gigs as best as he can. They're few and far between, and he's been doing some mental health. What is that called? Like motivational speaking. I don't like calling it motivational. It's he talks to groups about mental health. Normally he gets paid to do that. Everybody's budgets are a little bit skimpier these days than they normally would be, and those gigs are still few and far between right now. So he's been trying to do whatever he can to keep busy, and continuing to read to children has been a very important part of our mental health in this last year. And we celebrated the 1-year anniversary, and we're still going. So
didn't he recently get a letter from the mayor?
Yeah,
well?
the mayor sent him a letter. That was really cool. And not the mayor of Lockport either, although that would be pretty special, but it was the mayor of Winnipeg. Not really that much more special than the mayor of Lockport.
I'm sure still the mayor of Lockport is a special person too.
Just a person. Elected into office, trying to make decisions as best as they can. So we've been doing that. And then Taz, so normally Taz for the last, well, this would have been his 20th anniversary of doing this. But because they're being forced to do this online, he's calling it his 19 and a half anniversary year of his comedy show. And it's always been a fundraiser. Who he's fundraising kind of changes from time to time. So this year it's a bunch of different groups, but the main group that he's fundraising with is the Rotary Club, one of the Rotary clubs in Winnipeg. But there are a few other groups involved, like CNIB. I can't. My brain is fried right now. So. But anyways, so
it's for charity. Your money goes to a good cause.
Yes.
If you are interested.
Yes, and it is also going to support some entertainers who have been struggling for the last year because they entertainment shut down fast and early, and it will be one of the last things that starts back up. So if you appreciate, people who have provided you with laughter in this last year, online videos, any sort of comedy, if you are in a position to do so, try to support them through stuff like this if you can. This is not saying you have to buy tickets to Taz's show, but try to support somebody.
Support your local entertainers.
Yep. We're struggling. So Taz's show will be available online. It's going to be live April 29th, which is a Thursday evening. It will be starting at 7 p.m. Central CDT, whatever that stands for, Central something.
Central Daylight Time.
There we go. Tickets are only $22.23 Canadian. So what's that like?
That's like nothing American. It's like almost free.
And the people who are going to be telling the funny stuff are Tim Nutt, Pete Zedlacker,
That's funny too.
Rob Pugh, Jen LaBelle,
Also funny.
and Lark Miller. So this is an excellent lineup. Taz will probably tell some funny stuff as well. He usually does, and it's half the time it's about me. So yeah, it'll be a good show. The more people that join us, the better. It makes the entertainers feel really good when people show up for stuff like this. And
money
it's
goes
really
to
hard.
charity.
Yeah, it's really hard to do comedy to like emptiness, right? Like,
Yeah.
So just mentally knowing that there's tickets sold, it helps them with their get into it. It helps them keep going. It's important. So sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
You're not
I'm
sorry.
Not sorry.
Not sorry. Not sorry at all.
The default is to say sorry, and I gotta stop doing with that default. So, anyways, that's what I have to say today. I'm gonna try to, like I said, I'm gonna try to put information in the box below, some links for you to click on and make it easier. And I said a lot of things today. I don't think I'm done.
Yeah, this is supposed to be short. It
Yeah.
wasn't short.
Yeah.
It wasn't short
It
at
wasn't
all.
short at all.
But
Sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
You're
Oh my
not.
gosh.
you're so not sorry. Why? Okay, we're not sorry at all.
Not sorry.
We'd like to send
Free
you some air
entertainment.
hugs.
Air hugs.
Air hugs.
Free entertainment. All good. You could shut us off at any time.
Yeah, doesn't really matter. You can pause us. You can shut us off.
Hit the forward button.
Who knows who's even listening now at this point?
Exactly.
Okay, well, we love you.
All of you are. I'm sure you are. Sure you are. I'm sure you did not shut off this video when I started my rant at the beginning. You did not, right? You did not. Okay. I love you guys.
We love you.
Air hugs. Okay. Take care of yourselves. We'll talk soon.
Love yous from Canada.
Bye.